Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the channel. Hope everyone's doing well on this fine, lukewarm Tuesday night. Weather's quite looks quite beautiful out there, but it's not quite the same summery feel that it's had in previous days this year. But you know, it's still something we can appreciate. Anything that isn't just torrential downpours and freezing temperatures. We'll take that. We'll take it. We'll take it. We'll take it. And speaking of taking it, no, not that sort of thing that for some of you dirty MFers might have just come to mind or might have slipped into mind. No, not that sort of taking it. No. But Emmanuel Ugarte loan deal. What do we think about this, people? What do we think? It's an interesting one because it does bypass the buying factor of an Ugarte this year, but the deal structure contains the obligation to buy come next summer. Now, there's the plus sides to this deal and the downsides to this deal. The plus side is that we get to sign Ugarte, he's at the club, and we can hold off the payment until next summer, meaning that we've got, we sell a couple of players here and there, we sign, the extra player or two as incomings for this season, strengthen our squad that a little bit more, fine tune a few bits. The downside to this deal is that PSG know exactly what they want to get on the other end of this loan deal, and it is the obligation, the buy clause obligation. This is basically where PSG, I feel like, can play their hand to say, well, listen, we'll let you have Manuel Ugarte on loan. In fact, we present you this loan option. It's them coming to the table to say, well, look, here we are. You can have him on loan. You can have him on loan. Literally, it's almost for free. It's almost for free. Except if you do that this summer, right here, right now, and we know you want him, we really do, you've got to pay that £52 million fee that you say you won't pay. You have to pay that £52 million next summer. The money that we paid for him initially, we are recuperating that next summer. We are recuperating it. That is the obligation factor. You must pay this if you want to take him on loan this season. Super duper cheap. That it ticks the loan side of things, ticks all the boxes for Ineos, but it's the follow up, the buying of next summer, that I think is probably going to signal a red flag or two for Ineos. And I'm interested to see whether the club decides, you know what, let's bite the bullet on this one. It's not what we want in the long run, but we get the player now, and it gives Ten Hag what he wants now, rather than trying to jeopardize how we're getting this player in the not so distant future, because what is it, 10 days now? About 10 days until about 10 days until the transfer window shuts. 10 days, people. That's crazy. That's less than 2 weeks. And Man United still got some business to do. So we've got to push. We've got to push on this, and I believe that the fact that PSG have opened this option, it's not the option where I think Man United win in all factors. I think PSG do sort of they do sort of walk away from this like, well done guys, well done. We've secured a big pay. We've secured a big payday next summer. We've secured the big payday. And if he doesn't work at Man United on this loan deal, well, they'll be signing a flop. They could be signing a flop next summer. for the price that we command them to sign them. So, but whilst there is that to be said, with all the other deals going on, and Scott McTominay pending exit is one of them. Napoli, we've heard again that the agents or the director of Napoli has flown into the UK to discuss about this deal with Manchester United and the representatives to Scott McTominay's party. I think that, and Premier League interest as well. I think Fulham have gone away from it. They've decided, you know what, Sander Berg, yeah, let's go Sander Berg. Man United plan B option. I'm not going to lose any sleep over Sander Berg going to Fulham instead of coming to Man United. I'm not going to lose any sleep over that. There's probably about, 10 different alternatives on the market that you can sign as the cheap backup midfielder that, we haven't scouted them yet, but I'm sure that would be, if you genuinely looked properly with a bit of depth to it, you could probably pull somebody out of the hat and say that would not be a bad signing, given that it's not the main target, but it's the backup signing. It's the guy that you get as the +1, right? I'm sure there was other alternatives out there instead of Sander Berg, but Everton, Palace, two clubs very much interested in getting this McTominay deal over the line. But Napoli, supposedly the state of the Napoli deal as to what's been presented to them is that they will plan to do kind of like what we're doing with Manuel Ugarte, the loan deal with the obligation to buy, right? Now, the club, of course, Man United, we want to sell Scott McTominay, get the transfer, the fixed transfer fee, and get the money in, because that's kind of the situation at the moment with the club. And if we do get that sale done, then that would finance the move for Manuel Ugarte. So, listen, I think at the end of the day, Scott McTominay deal, I believe, is getting a lot of heat, and I think once the deal really gets traction and a lot of heat, I think that's when it starts to really materialize into something. And the fact is that there's a lot of different angles with the Scott McTominay deal. It's not just some throwaway story that, the club's interested in signing McTominay, but Man United don't want to sell him, or Man United will definitely sell to this club. Like we don't see that sort of thing. We don't believe in that sort of thing. But with this deal, whether it's Napoli, whether it's Everton or another club, Spurs could be interested, maybe. We just don't know. We just don't know. There's all sorts of clubs that could just suddenly switch on the interest in McTominay and come out the woodworks to sign him. We just don't know. But whichever way he goes, if we can get a solid fee for him, then I'll be happy. It's pure profit. The club can only get a green light from the PSR nonsense if we do sell a player like Scott McTominay, because again, it is pure profit. Profit and sustainability, guys. It's the VAR of transfers. Maybe it is the VAR of transfers, quite literally. So everyone's having to watch themselves now. Keep one eye open at night. Keep eyes in the back of your head, because they'll be coming to get you. The people in the windowless white vans with balaclavas on and ski masks. Well, they probably don't wear ski masks or balaclavas, and maybe they don't drive white windowless vans. Maybe they drive Mercedes AMGs. Maybe they drive BMWs. Maybe they drive Audis. Maybe they drive Mini Coopers, the Italian job. Who knows? Who knows how these people roll? But yeah, hopefully, fingers crossed, we can sort out the McTominay deal ASAP. And interesting bit of a brain pick, pick your brains with it, with the Ugarte approach, with a loan option instead of buying outright this summer. But that would include the obligation next summer. If you guys are United fans, or if you are rival fans, and you were presented with this situation, what would you opt to do? Would you take that loan handout, but say, fine, we'll pay you what you want next summer? Do you take that handout, or do you stick to your guns and say, well, we're going to try and push for a sale first, and then we'll come to you, and then we'll sort this out, you know, negotiating in the negotiating rooms, so on and so forth. Now, what's interesting is that Vocando Palestri is a player that perhaps, I think it's Panathinaikos looking at club record fee for signing him, plus rumor has it a 45, about 40 to 45% salon clause as well, which is quite hefty. Quite hefty, must be said. But I'm interested to work out what this fee would actually work out to be, because I believe this deal is very, very close to happening. It's one of quite a few players that I think are on, right. They've sort of got down to the hotel lobby and they're just about to leave, right? They are in the lobby of the hotel now before they leave. They're not in the elevator, they're not still in the corridors, they're not still in the hotel rooms, they're in the lobby and the taxi's about to pull up to take them away. I think that deal and maybe a couple of others might be at that point. I think Hannibal Mabry's been linked to Burnley this time around. So be interesting to pay attention to that to see what happens with the Hannibal deal. Another midfielder that we're looking to offload and get a little bit of a transfer fee for, a bit like how we had with Willie Campoala, 10 million. I think it was £10 million or 10 million euros. That transfer fee, which for a player that's not really ever bedded themselves into your team, never really kicked a football for you, is all right. It's an all right transfer fee. A little bits of cash coming in, little influx of cash, and all of those little deals will sort of, it accumulates, it stacks. So maybe this Hannibal deal's more of the same. I know Palistri will be more of the same. As to who else we get on that on the outgoings, we'll have to wait and see what happens with that. But I think I heard at some point today that they're looking at about eight players that the club might be looking to push on, which will be crazy if it happens. If we can push out 8 players, which is that would be a madness. You could generate all sorts of money with that. All sorts of money with 8 players going out. But just a little bit of info with the Manuel Ugarte story as well, with the it's something to do with the gaps in the payment side of things, looking at between what our expectations are and what PSG's demands are, or what our demands are. So MEC would prefer to buy Manuel Ugarte, but there remains a gap believed to be around £8.5 million between what they are prepared to pay and PSG's £51 million asking price. PSG are hoping that the offer to defer paying the full fee for Ugarte will tempt United, as the loan deal would suggest. So, but yeah, they're talking that there's now growing optimism that this deal can be done. I believe that this deal will be done, but I'm intrigued to see which way, hierarchy want to take this, because, maybe the positives that we should just look at is that Man United, if Ugarte becomes a Man United player this week, is for the betterment of the club ultimately. And it's a player that they recognised at the start of the summer and said, that's our guy. And they're getting their guy. I know it's not at any point the speed that they want to get him in at, but it's still getting plan A, essentially, right? It is still getting plan A. It's basically working out to be the Frankie de Jong deal gone right. the Frankie de Jong deal gone well. You scout the player, you're intrigued the player. The player's like, actually, yeah, I like this. I fancy this, and it goes on and goes on and goes on and goes on. Clubs say yes. All of a sudden, clubs say no. Then clubs say yes again. Then clubs say no. We're sort of getting to the point where the clubs, I think, are trying to say, well, yeah, okay, fine. Enough is enough. Let's sort this out now. Let's actually sort this out. We'll offer you an alternative, right? We'll be happy for you to take this as long as you can do this. You scratch our back, we'll scratch yours. That's basically what PSG might be trying to allude to with this obligation to buy off the back of the loan deal. So it's interesting. It is very interesting. Let me know what you guys think about the loan obligation to buy deal for Ugarte as a plan A signing. If you're in that same boat yourselves and you were presented with the chance to sign a plan A player for a crucial position in your team, you know that your club don't want to pay the full asking price, but they were offered the loan to buy come next summer and pay it in full next summer. Do you take that deal now? Do you defer the transfer fee now to pay it next summer? Or do you try and find an alternative way or a little, transfer strategy B to getting the player permanently signed for this summer? Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. As well as that, make sure that you do like and subscribe. We'll be back again tomorrow at 8:30 p.m. for the good, the bad, and the ugly. Apparently, episode 7, episode 8 already, which is an absolute madness. Season 2 is already full speed ahead. It's absolutely crazy, really, really crazy. But it's episode 6. Episode 6. We're not a week or two ahead of time, but still. But yes, 8:30 p.m. tomorrow. I'm in the bad section. Arsenal are in the good, and West Ham in the ugly. I mean, you can't go wrong with that. You sign that many players, you would expect to end up eliciting or not eliciting, but you get my point. You sign that many players, you'd expect to win, right? Well, now people know how it was to be under Edward Ward. Now people know how it feels to be a Chelsea fan. But anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your Tuesday nights, and we'll see you again tomorrow for The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, Season 2, Episode 6. Take care, and we'll see you over there.